From the ancient halls of Athens to the wisdom of Rome, from the battle-scarred fields of Carthage to the untamed spirit of Japan and the poetic soul of Persia, 6 figures rose from the shadows of time, each with a vision that changed the course of history. Socrates, Seneca, Hannibal, Musashi, Plato and Rumi, legends whose names still echo, whose wisdom still guides. Their stories are more than words. They are the very foundation of who we are. Athens, the city of wisdom, but tonight, wisdom is on trial. There he stands, an old man in simple robes, his hands steady, his eyes unafraid. The judges demand his surrender. Renounce your words, Socrates, beg for mercy, and you shall live. But Socrates will not kneel, and then he speaks.
The unexamined life is not worth living.
A choice made, a path set. He lifts the cup. The poison is dark, thick, bitter. He drinks, not with fear, but with conviction. And so, the wisest man in Athens chooses truth over life itself. But Socrates' search for truth did not end with him. It echoed in the heart of Rome, where Seneca wrestled with the nature of fear, power, and fate. Rome, where power reigns, yet fear often rules the mind. Seneca, once a man of power in the heart of Rome, now in exile, far from the city that shaped him. Alone in his chamber, Seneca paces. His heart pounds, his thoughts race. Judgment awaits him. The emperor's decision could seal his fate. The shadows of his mind stretch long, fear, anxiety, the terror of an uncertain future. He imagines the worst, the weight of his thoughts becoming unbearable. And then from the depths of his soul, a whisper. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The fear was never in his exile, nor in the judgment of another. The true storm was only within his mind. And so Seneca stands unburdened. The inner storm, quelled by the wisdom from beyond, fades to silence. But wisdom alone does not shape the world. Sometimes action carves destiny. A man who defied an empire, who crossed the Alps against all odds. Hannibal of Carthage. The year is 218 BCE. The Alps stretch high above, an unforgiving wilderness. And yet, before them, a man stands unyielding. There, in the blinding snow, Hannibal Barca looks out upon his soldiers, his army weary and broken. Days of struggle, of cold, of hunger. The mountain seems to mock them. And the soldiers, tired, questioning, ask themselves, is this even possible? But there is no retreat. There is no turning back. And then Hannibal roars, his voice pouring through the mountains like a force of nature, each word thunderous, shaking the very earth beneath them. We will either find a way, Oregon make one. In that moment, the impossible became inevitable. Through the Alps, through the storm, Hannibal's will become the way. And so Hannibal's army, against all odds, reached the gates of Rome. To the Romans, they were no longer soldiers. They were shadows, phantoms, a force of nature that could not be reasoned with. The gates of Rome could not hold them. But strength is not only found in battle. Sometimes it is forged in discipline and mastery. In the land of the rising sun, one warrior stood above all. His name, Miyamoto Musashi. Japan, the age of the samurai. Honor is their law, death, an old companion. There, in the mud, a lone warrior struggles to rise. His name, Miyamoto Musashi. His body broken, his sword chipped, scarred by battle. His enemies surround him. The world whispers, "Stay down." But Musashi does not kneel. A samurai is not measured by his fall, but by how many times he rises. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. And then silence. Musashi stands alone, his enemies fallen, his spirit unbroken. The fight was never about strength, but the will to rise again and again. And yet even the greatest of warriors must reckon with the weight of justice. And none understood this burden more than the philosopher who walked the halls of Syracuse, Plato. Syracuse, a city ruled by kings, but some battles are not fought with swords. Plato, the thinker, Dion, the fighter. Dion stands before him, fists clenched. His voice, once strong, now wavers. I have given everything, and still they betray me. I fight for justice, yet they call me a tyrant. Plato does not argue. He does not raise his voice. Instead, he speaks a truth far greater than war. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Dion's hands loosen, his shoulders drop. The rage in his eyes fades, replaced by something deeper, something heavier. And then Plato steps closer, his eyes calm but knowing, his voice softer now but unshaken. If you must be anything, be just. A warrior and a philosopher. One bound to conquest, the other bound to wisdom, but in the end, only one truly wins. But beyond the battlefield, beyond the weight of war and justice, there is the soul of man, and no voice sang the song of the soul more beautifully than Rumi. Persia, the land of empires, the land of wisdom, but even wisdom can be drowned in fury. Two men, locked in rage. Their words have turned to fire, and the fire is spreading. And then he arrives, Jalal al-Din Rumi, a man whose presence speaks louder than war. He does not shout, he does not command, he simply speaks. Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. A fist trembles, then opens. The fire is gone. The storm has passed. Thunder may shake the world, but only rain can bring light. And so, wisdom calms the storm. And so, these six figures, through wisdom, through struggle, through determination, left their mark, shaping the world as we know it. Their legacy is forever.
If you liked the story, my dears, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you.